Today we're going to show you how to change the heater element assembly on your dryer. It's a pretty easy job. All we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, a putty knife, and maybe a pair of needle nose pliers. Let me show you how we do it. Now the first step in this repair will be to disconnect the power to the dryer. Simply pull the plug if it has one on it. If it's a direct wired dryer, then you'll need to locate the fuses or circuit breakers and turn those off. Next we'll remove the main top. There's a couple of spring clips in about 2 inches on either side. So with a putty knife, we'll locate those, depress them, lift up on the lid. Just open the lid up and we'll remove this ground strap at the back. And then lift the lid right off. Next we'll disconnect the 2 wire harnesses along the side here. Tuck that down out of the way. There are 2 Phillips screws that are located about 4 inches down on either side that hold the front panel to the cabinet. So we'll remove those. Now we can tilt the front panel forward, lower it down enough that you can disengage the hooks on the bottom of the front panel, and then we'll set that whole assembly aside. Next we're going to remove this little guard on the front, single Phillips screw. That will give us a little more room to remove the drum. Now there's an idler assembly that's located right in behind the blower. It has some spring tension on it, so we're going to release the tension on that spring and then roll the belt off the motor pulley. So reach in on one side till we locate that. Next, using the belt, we'll lift up on the back of the drum to disengage the bearing. And we're going to tilt it enough to get it through the opening. And then we'll set the drum assembly aside. Now, the next thing we need to do is remove the 2 wire terminals from the thermostat and the 2 terminals from the element itself. So with a pair of pliers, we just get those free. And next, we're going to remove 4 Phillips screws that come in from the back of the cabinet that hold the element housing in place. Now we just discard the old element housing and then place the new one on the back wall of the cabinet and line up one of the screws to begin with. Now with one screw in place, that'll hold the element housing until you can line up another one. Now, next we'll reconnect the wires to the thermostat. Make sure they fit nice and snug. And then onto the 2 wires for the actual element itself. And now we're ready to reassemble. Now we're ready to reinstall the drum. We'll fit it through the opening. We'll lift that bearing up into the bearing holder. Push it down into place. Line the belt up roughly where it belongs. You'll see some marks on the drum. And then we need to wrap the belt around the idler pulley and the motor. Now there is a spring that puts tension on that idler pulley that is connected to the motor bracket, and we'll give you a close-up shot of that so you'll see where it connects in case you dislodge it. Now the orientation of the belt will be that it comes down the side of the drum, wraps around the motor pulley, and then up over top of the idler pulley. And when we rotate the drum, you should see the blower fan moving. Now we're ready to put the front panel back on. I want to make sure that we engage the slots on the bottom of the front panel with the two little tabs on the cabinet. And we'll have to lift up on the drum a bit to slide that front panel in to make sure that the front glides go into the drum opening. Next, we'll reinstall those two Phillips screws, one on either side. Make sure they're tight. And next, we'll reinstall the guard for the drum. Next, we'll reconnect the wire harnesses. And now we're ready to put the main top on. Simply locate the slots in the back of the main top, slide them over the hinges. Remember to reconnect the ground strap. You can pinch it closed to make sure it has a nice tight fit. Then simply snap the main top back into place. We'll reconnect the power and our repair is complete.